Indeed, good morning to you wherever you are. I know the struggle is real. It is real. It is Tuesday. Believe it. After those days of nothing but your own fun and frolic, now we have to get up and get to work indeed. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to today. It is Tuesday, the 22nd of April, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. So wonderful having you company. What a weekend, eh? What a weekend indeed. And so to all of you who are watching via our streams on Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, cbc.bb, good morning to all of you indeed. Thank you so much for keeping us company, waking up bright and early in the morning, even sometimes before the crack of dawn, to keep company with us. We thank you. We thank you also for communicating between yourselves and with us as well. We love it when you talk back to us. That's important to us too. And of course, if you have an idea or if you know of someone or something which you think we need to tell the world about on Mornin Barbados, do drop us an email. That is the email on your screen. That's the email address, morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And we thank you for partnering with us to keep everyone else entertained and informed. You've been great ambassadors indeed. Always up early. She's in Queens, New York. Patricia Ben. Patricia Ben, good morning to you. Indeed, she says she loves Barbados. We do too. And so because you love it so much, come now home. Come now home soon. Rhonda Hines Graham's Miss Sweet Rons. She's saying a terrific Tuesday morning to everyone and the crew. To all of you, she wishes well. We do too to you, Rhonda. Have a super duper today. Anthony Smith, how are you doing? He says 246, good morning. BIM, good morning, in other words. I bet you didn't know that. BIM 246. M is 6? That's what we call it anyway. But good morning to all of you indeed. Have yourselves a terrific day. Thank you for keeping us company. It's Tuesday. How was your weekend? How was your weekend? How was your Easter weekend? I did commission you on Friday time to go to church. Did you? Because churches were filled on the weekend. I was really excited to see as I went by as well the number of people who were out to worship on Good Friday, out to worship on Easter Sunday as well. But I also know thousands of you went out to other events as well. And I hope that you kept yourself well and you were safe, all of you, wherever you are. I'm told, as the young people will say, that the Vibes Cartel show was burst, to use it as you say. You were burst. So good for all of you who had a good time there and you kept it all safe together. But St. Joseph had wonderful events. I'm telling you, the Josephines were out in numbers and they did come out to the big marquee event on the weekend as well. And so in spite of the showers, the people gathered. And they gathered, they had a really, really good time. And so I'm glad that it's happening and rolling along so beautifully. So still other days to go for St. Joseph, get to know what else is happening and get to be a part of what else is happening in St. Joseph as well. The big news for Catholics across the world was the passing of the Pope at 88 years old. I remember hearing the story of him being wheeled onto the balcony to be greeted by the crowds for Easter Sunday. And then he met also with the Vice President of the United States on Easter Sunday. And then on Easter Monday, the Pope was dead. Well, long live the Pope, some would say. And so there he is. That's him, Pope Francis. And so to all Catholics, we extend condolences. We know that you're in search now of the next leader of your church, and we wish you well in your deliberations. So you get an idea of what happened on the weekend. So how was yours? Did you have a good time? I hope you did indeed. Now coming up today, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM made his way to the United Nations. He was there for a reason. That reason we'll share with you when we have our conversations on CARICOM as he brings his report. Can't wait to share with him on that. The Methodist Church continues to be embarking on making math, as the people say today. And you do recall in January, they started an initiative. We want to continue talking about that and how mathematics can once again be easy for the brains of all of us. And so we want to hear from the folks about that this morning as well. Tony Olton will be dropping by this morning because we are continuing our journey towards emotional intelligence, of which self-management is a part. And so we want to continue that journey with him this morning. Now, the deadline for Make About the project, it has been extended, but we'll hear more about that new deadline and remind you as to the mechanics of that, how you can participate and your children can as well, and what the prizes and the purpose for the event too. Breaking Barriers, Barbados to England and Back. That's the title of a book written by a Barbadian man. Who is he? He'll join us this morning to share the barriers that he broke and that journey as well. But he's back now, and so we want to hear from him about the book he has written. And as we prepare for regathering in St. John in May, they'll join us this morning as we hear more about what we can expect community-wise in St. John. But let's get our conversations on CARICOM started. It's now 5.5 minutes after 6 o'clock as we're joined by Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency David Commichon. Ambassador, good morning again.
Morning, Pearson.
Good to see you. How was your weekend? Your Easter period?
Well, you know, I got back to Barbados on Saturday after a really hectic week in New York. I got back all tired, but the highlight of the Easter for me was the Nicholas Branca concert at the beautiful Cotrington College. And sublime as usual, Nicholas and all the supporting artists. So I really enjoyed myself. The concert renewed me, renewed me. And so all in all, a good Easter, a good Easter weekend.
That's good. I mean, Easter is about renewal anyway, the story of Easter. And so that's good. You had that opportunity to be renewed. But you were overseas for a little while. We missed you last week, but you were there for a purpose. What is it?
Yes, well, I spent between the Monday the 14th and Thursday the 17th at the United Nations. It was the 4th session of the United Nations Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. And viewers will recall that towards the end of last year, I had as a guest right here on this program, Dr. June Suma of St. Lucia, who was then the chairperson of this new United Nations body that has the mandate to advocate and defend the interests of people of African descent globally. And so we had her here, and we had her here because Barbados actually hosted a meeting of this 10-person forum right here in Barbados. And we turned that internal meeting also into a regional Caribbean consultation. So Barbados is very committed to this new UN entity, this Forum for People of African Descent. We are committed to it, we are supporting it. And this is the 3rd time. I have been to 3 of the 4 sessions just to represent Barbados and to give that support and solidarity.
Okay, 4th time. Do you feel movement forward in making the change that we're looking for?
Well, yes, I would say so. I think this particular session really focused on 2 things: reparations and Haiti. And it would seem as though everything really is moving to a consolidation of that idea of reparations in a very serious way. So yes, when we get into discussing some of the outcomes and recommendations, you will see that everything is really moving to a consolidation of the idea of reparations at the center really of international policy making. And Haiti, well, you know, the important thing about Haiti is that the forum announced that it was having a special session on Haiti's independence debt. You know, this is the ransom that France imposed on Haiti in 1825. He said, Haiti, well, you won your revolution, but if you want to secure this independence, you have to pay us 150 million gold francs for the loss of French property, including the property of slaves, the lives of slaves. And Haiti had to take on this tremendous debt that really did tremendous damage to Haiti. So the forum said, this is the 200th anniversary of the debt. We're having a special session where we will be calling on France to do the right thing, to recompense Haiti for the injustice done to Haiti by imposing that debt on them. And the day before, lo and behold, the day before that session was to be held, the President of France, President Macron, announced that France will be setting up a commission with Haitian and French members to examine this debt that France owes to Haiti. So that, you know, who knows whether it was the fact that the Permanent Forum said that they were going to be putting the global spotlight on this issue that motivated France to do what they did. But, you know, it could be that, it could be other factors as well. But of course, I have no doubt that that was one of the factors that motivated this very positive movement by France. So Haiti was a big feature at the forum.
Who were there? I know Barbados was there, but in terms to get a sense of that momentum, whose voices were raised in that forum?
Okay, so it's a United Nations forum. The opening ceremony was held in the Great Hall of the United Nations, the General Assembly Hall, and you have in attendance UN agencies, so the United Nations Human Rights Council, the High Commissioner for Human Rights, different UN agencies that are directly involved with issues pertaining to people of African descent and human rights issues, the Working Group of People on Persons of African Descent, the Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, the Intergovernmental Working Group on the implementation of the Durban Declaration and Program of Action. So you have all of the relevant UN agencies, the United Nations Population Fund, etc. Then you have member states. So you have Barbados was there, Jamaica was there, Cuba was there, Canada was there, United States, and then you have civil society, representatives of civil society. So in all, there were 800 to 900 representatives, I think 800 representatives from 90 different countries. So the forum takes place over 4 days. So that is 4 days of hearing at hearings at UN headquarters. But in addition to that, you have side events. So you have different organizations that take the opportunity of a session of the UN Permanent Forum to have side events. So there were 70 different side events. I actually spoke at four side events. All of them important, but I will single out one. There was a side event that was put on by the Anglican Church and the government of Kenya, and it was looking at the responsibility of the Church of England for some of the historical injustices it was involved in, and the need for reparations. And so I spoke at that event with the Archbishop of York, who is the top cleric at the moment in the Anglican Church, now that the Archbishop of Canterbury has resigned. So that was a very important event, because we were able to look at the Anglican Church and what it owes, not only to Africa, but also to the Caribbean, places like Barbados. And then I was able to have dinner with the Archbishop and the ambassadors of Kenya and Jamaica, and so we were able to get into a really deep discussion about the Anglican Church and reparations. And I must say, the Archbishop is very, very progressive on the issue of reparations. So yes, so I spoke at the opening session of the forum on behalf of Barbados. I also spoke at the special session on Haiti, and of course I spoke at the various side events.
Lots of speaking.
Yeah, it was a tiring week. So as I said, I came back to Barbados really tired, and thank you, Nicholas, for uplifting me.
And that's what it's about. We're going to take a break, but I want to share, when we come back from the break, a part of your speech, your address to the UN Forum. And it was quite inspiring, quite instructive indeed. And so we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll share that, and we'll hear more from Ambassador David Commichon, Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons, which will surprise many, is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely, and have no one to talk to, Call
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's Tuesday and we're having our conversations on CARICOM. As we did here at the beginning, the ambassador is back from a UN forum, and so we want to continue sharing with you the outcome of that forum, a part of which he addressed the forum. And so before we continue our discussion, let's share with you how the ambassador and what the ambassador said when he made his address to the UN forum.
Ambassador David Comishong, I will speak on behalf of the Republic of Barbados. And let me say that it is an honor for me to speak on behalf of our country in this historic discussion about restitution and reparations for our Caribbean community, CARICOM member state of Haiti. Haiti, as colleagues may know, is one of the 15 full member states of CARICOM, and it is a member state for whom we have a very special place in our hearts, because we are all aware that the Haitian Revolution is the very foundation of our own freedom from enslavement. The Haitian Revolution is also the foundation of the very concept of universal human rights. When other people were waging their revolutions and talking about inalienable rights, that all men are created free, but still holding human beings in human bondage, Haiti declared the total abolition of enslavement, regardless of race or color. Haiti is also the foundation of the modern effort to rediscover and revalorize the glorious history and heritage of Africa after centuries of enslavement and destruction of Africa's civilization. It was the Haitian scholars, the Haitian universities, scholars like Antinor Firmin, that lifted up the forgotten history and heritage of Africa. So we all owe Haiti a tremendous debt. And I wish to say on behalf of the Republic of Barbados that we welcome the news of this, the setting up of this commission to inquire into the issue of restitution for Haiti, but we acknowledge that there's a long road ahead. Not only is Haiti entitled to restitution for the independence debt, Haiti is also entitled to reparations for 150 years of enslavement. And we want our Haitian brothers and sisters to be aware that our CARICOM Reparations Commission has long ago decided that the Haitian struggle for reparations and restitution must be a priority of our CARICOM campaign. We want our Haitian brothers and sisters to know that our Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on Reparations will be there to give solidarity and support as they undertake this new journey to secure the restitution and reparations that is due to them. And I finally just I cannot end without referencing the security crisis in Haiti. The Haitian National Police need help to get the security situation under control. We acknowledge the efforts made by our Kenyan brothers and sisters to assist with this very difficult task, but a word must go out to the entire international community, to all of the genuine international friends of Haiti. Please step forward and give whatever support you can to the Haitian National Police, the Haitian administration, so that the Haitian people can get the internal domestic security that they need to be able to take their country forward and upward. I thank you, Mr. Chair.
Impactful address to the UN forum. And so what's next? What's the pathway now forward to bring to reality the change that we're seeking?
Well, we hope and expect that new commission, France-Haiti Commission, will in fact go on to deliver to Haiti restitution in the form of financial resources for the damage that France did when it illegitimately really imposed that debt on Haiti 200 years ago. But you also heard my final plea. My final plea was about the crisis situation in Haiti. And you know, just yesterday, Easter Monday, the United Nations Security Council held a special session on Haiti. And the UN's representative in Haiti, you know, she was really pleading. She said, you know, things are really at an inflection point in Haiti. The situation with the gangs has even worsened. And she made the same point that I was making, that really and truly, the only thing that can work now is if other countries step forward and, just like the Kenyans, lend support. So this is really the critical factor, because if we don't get that right, then everything else that we're trying to do with reparations and the commission will really come to naught. So I really hope that these pleas that are going out for other member states of the UN to step up and do like Kenya and really help to bolster the Haitian police. We really have to work on that.
Well, we heard Jamaica has pledged to lend support as well, boots on the ground.
Jamaica has done a little. El Salvador has done something. Guatemala has done something. The Bahamas and Belize. But still not enough, you know, because when that multinational security mission was conceptualized, it was deemed that it would need at least 2,500 personnel going into Haiti. Thus far, only about 1,000. So how can 1,000 do the work of 2,500? So we need other countries to step up and help.
So we can arrest the problem, but then we have to have a roadmap forward. What is also being contemplated?
Well, a lot was discussed at the Permanent Forum. As I said, the idea is taking root, that the concept of reparations has to be at the center of many international programs and projects. Similar with Haiti, you know, the point was made that a lot of what Haiti is experiencing now really has its roots in the damage done during those centuries of enslavement and colonization, and that Haiti is owed a reparations package. Similarly, the Permanent Forum is making the point that even the concept of sustainable development, you know, the world is supposed to be on a journey towards sustainable development, especially for developing countries, that if you do not insert reparations into that concept of sustainable development, it is not going to happen. In fact, they're saying that the UN Sustainable Development project is really not achieving in the way that it was expected to achieve. And they're saying that one of the deficiencies is that reparations is not sufficient. Measures to repair damage that was done, and that historically, and that continue to have effects in the present era. So the forum has said they've called upon all UN member states to support a growing effort by the African Union and CARICOM to go to the UN General Assembly with a resolution to set up a high-level forum that will go on to establish a global framework for reparations. And that global framework will deliver things like a global reparations fund, a global group of experts on reparations. They're also calling on member states to insert reparations in their national development strategies. A perfect example in Barbados would have been the Tenantries Freehold Purchase Act, how in the early 1980s we sought to address a historical wrong of black landlessness in Barbados. So that would be an idea, an example of countries putting the concept of reparations into domestic governmental policies. They called on the international community to return to Africa historical artifacts stolen from the African people and continent during those centuries of colonization. They also addressed the issue of women and girls of African descent and made the point that they're perhaps some of the worst sufferers of these injustices because they suffer not only from sexism but from racism. And very importantly, Pearson, there was a session on artificial intelligence and the digital world that is evolving. And the point is being made that the artificial intelligence that is being put in place, that is now being used to determine who gets jobs, how police carry out profiling of criminal elements and so forth, that a lot of this artificial intelligence is really racially biased because a lot of the data that has gone into these algorithms is data that is actually biased against Africans and people of African descent. So they raise the alarm about the world that is taking shape, that in addition to the historical inequities and injustices, we seem to be building in similar racial inequities and injustices into this new digital world. And they issued a call for the United Nations to get serious about putting in place some kind of international mechanism to police that whole digital economy and to make sure that racial justice is embedded in it. So, you know, a number of very powerful ideas. My contribution to the general debate of the forum centered around process going forward, how to make the work of the forum even more effective. And I use the example of the Bridgetown Initiative, how in Barbados we put together, I said to them, look, you have a multiplicity of recommendations across, a multiplicity of areas, which is fine. That's what the forum is supposed to do. However, I think that you need to condense into a very a narrower, more cohesive set of really critical recommendations that are relevant to the entire African family, and you need to consult and engage to get those implemented, just as we have been doing with the Bridgetown Initiative. And you need to be engaging with all of the multilateral organizations that are part of Global Africa. So CARICOM, we invited Dr. Suma last year to meet with our heads of government at our heads of government conference to engage with us. And I said the African Union needs to do likewise, the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States, the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States, the Commonwealth, the Association of Caribbean States. But I think that the forum now needs to move to implement that kind of methodology of constant engagement and consultation so that we can get concrete implementation of ideas.
Right. That's a good point at which to end, Ambassador, but I thank you so much again for this hearty report. It was a meeting, and so the meat that you shared with us is quite satisfying indeed, and I wish you well with all the other endeavors and the plan going forward to assist with Haiti.
Yes.
Barbados Ambassador to CARICOM, David Commissiong, who joined us with our conversations on CARICOM. We're breaking here. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, but not everyone has someone they can confide in. That's why Lifeline Barbados exists, to be there for you or someone you care about during tough times. Save this number. Lifeline Barbados is just a call away. Remember, you can reach out whenever you need to talk.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb, and together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Strong at work in education. And so this morning we want to continue a discussion which we started some time ago, a couple months ago, where the Methodist Church has brought in Dr. Ben Har from Singapore, as he looked and addressed with educators in Barbados different approaches to make the education through mathematics far more manageable and interesting. And so joining us to continue the discussion right here with me in studio is Dr. Shiaka Drakes, who herself is a mathematics tutor and co-facilitator of the math learning community. Good morning to you,
Good
Dr.
morning,
Drakes.
Pearson.
Good to have you again.
Thank you.
How was your Easter?
Busy. Yeah, I'm always very busy.
That's all right. And with all the exams coming up, mathematics
That's
is
right.
central.
That's right. Exams are coming up, and so everybody is panicking because they all want to do well on the exams, and often without actually understanding the math, they would like to just get their marks, right?
So we'll talk about that in just a moment. And then from the beautiful state of Georgia, Miss Kits Cadet. Kits, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Pearson. How are you? Good to be with you again.
I am well. How do you do?
I am doing quite well, thank you.
Good. And has the snow melted in Georgia?
Pearson, the
Yes.
snow melted quite a few months ago.
Just checking in on you, just to make sure you're all right.
We are now beginning to enjoy spring.
Lovely. So it'll be summer by the time I get there. That's fantastic.
Yes.
And so, Dr. Drakes, let's talk a little bit about the experience with Dr. Ben Har and what that meant for mathematics tutors in Barbados, and then what can we expect going forward?
So, Dr. Ben Har is from Singapore. He is the headmaster of 2 schools and one of the people who have done a lot of groundbreaking work. So for us, it was very interesting. Most people who come to a conference with him will say how it has changed their perspective of mathematics. Some of the things that he will tell us are not good for mathematics learning is rote memorization, overcomplicated problems, kind of the things that we do here in Barbados. So we all remember learning tables kind of by rote and trying to remember formulas. And for many people, that's what math is. And what he kind of helps us to understand is that's not what math is. Math is really a way for us to sharpen the mind. It's like the gym for the mind. And so he helps us to see kind of different ways we can go about approaching math so that it is more meaningful and less about memorizing some things to pass an exam to get a certificate that you will then no longer do that stuff ever again.
You're right. I mean, I haven't approached trigonometry since. I haven't looked at it at all.
Exactly. And we know, I mean, if we are honest, most people will not do trigonometry in their real life. Maybe carpenters will use a little Pythagoras for a right angle, but the average person isn't going to use trigonometry. But that's not the purpose of mathematics. It is something that teaches you logic. It teaches you the ability to argue and defend your argument with proof. It's something that teaches you to really think and understand and follow patterns. And these skills, problem-solving skills, are needed in every walk of life. So apart from the content, mathematics is a very good tool for strengthening the mind.
And so you had sessions where it was almost peer-to-peer, one-to-one almost. How impactful were those sessions for you?
So, which sessions do you mean? The in-person sessions?
Oh, you tell me.
So he came here in January, and we had, he met with the teachers that were here. And so there was a secondary conference and a primary conference for 2 days each. And then since then, we've started an online community. So in the online community, he meets with us once a month. And then it is online, so for an hour, he will tackle things that we are worried about. So as teachers or parents, things that we want to deal with, that we're not sure how to go about teaching in the new way that he's showing us, and then he deals with that.
Cadet, Miss Kitts, do you see this method by Dr. Ben-Har appropriate to filling those deficits in understanding mathematics and the mathematics results that we see?
I most certainly do, and we have the evidence, because when we look at other countries with which Dr. Ben-Har has worked, we look at England, we look at Pakistan, we look at different countries in South America, he has been 42 different countries, and doing the same thing, trying to encourage persons to use the new methodologies. And yes, there has been improvement. So this is what we want to bring to the Caribbean region. We recognize that our students are not doing as well as they should in mathematics. And we feel as a church, the Methodist Church of the South Caribbean District, that the church has a vital role to play in supporting the Ministry of Education in tackling those areas that are a bit challenging of what matters one. So yes, definitely.
And so these sessions were for the trainers, the teachers. And so,
yes.
So Dr. Drakes, back to you. Now that you know what you know, have you been able to use it yet in the classroom?
So one of the things that is wonderful about working with Dr. Ben-Har, this is not his first time here. He came in 2019. And if you go to a session with him at 9 o'clock in the morning, you can use his methods at 9:05. Like, it really is immediately you can implement it, because it's not brain surgery, right? And so for many people, we know math, we consider math this thing that's so difficult. But a part of why that is because we don't follow what the research tells us about learning math. And what the research tells us is to go about it in a concrete way or in a pictorial way before we try to get to the abstract symbols. And so what we do here is we go straight abstract. We love a symbol, we love a formula. And what he says is, no, hold on, there's a way to represent this as a picture. And the moment you show it to the children as a picture, they're like, oh, this is what it is. Oh, I understand now. Oh, I didn't know what was happening before. And you see the difference. And so immediately you can implement it.
Kitts, I saw you sit forward. This really piqued your interest.
Yes, it did, because I've been working with Dr. Ben-Har for a while now, and just what Dr. Drakes has said, the focus has always been and must be in those countries where there has been significant improvement, like Finland, Singapore. First, we have to do the concrete, then the pictorial. But we in the Caribbean, we go straight to the symbols, straight to the numbers, and we forget that the children, we learn best visually. Think of an infant. How do you bring information to them? First, they play with the toys, and then they use pictures. So this is the same thing we have to do at all levels. And we have a tendency to sometimes use it with the younger kids. And once the children pass grade 3 or so, we say, no more of that. Let's go straight to the abstract. And this is something that we want to change the mindset. Actually, our workshop in Barbados, that was the title, Change Mindset. And this is what we want to do.
So what do we do next? Now that the few of you have been trained in this method, how do we make sure it now ripples around and everyone grabs hold, all math teachers, so that they can make math and easier for a lot of people? Kit.
Yes, well, we have now, and I must say to the Barbados audience that this is the first time that we are piloting this. So the Methodist Church wants to take us a step further. So we have had workshops across the region, but this is the first time we have now a math learning community that has come out of the workshop. So as Dr. Drakes has said, we meet with Dr. Ben-Har once a month, and the cost is very nominal. It's $105 for the 9-month period. And once a month until November, the Dr. Banhar comes on, Dr. Drakes is there, and the teachers have an opportunity to share some of the challenges they have. And they also present to Dr. Banhar before the session some of the topics that they would like him to teach them how to teach. So that we have him with us, we have Dr. Drakes with us, and this is the way to create synergy. This is the way to get the information across a very wide audience. One of the things we realize, though, is that when teachers attend workshops, very often they do not share the information with their colleagues to the extent that one would have hoped. So this is an opportunity for them to get the information themselves.
And so, Dr. Drakes, how can those teachers who have not yet come online, how can they now do so?
So I'm sure Kits has already sent you the link. So there's a link for you to pay. It is $105 US for 9 sessions. One session is already gone in March, so you still have 8 sessions to go. The next one is tomorrow for primary and Thursday for secondary. But I was telling someone, if you only make 7, that's $210 billion. That is $30 a session, and it is totally worth it. We spend $30 on a lot, much more silly things. It's also not for teachers alone. It is for teachers, parents, anybody who is interested, anybody who worries about how to teach mathematics to their children. That is for them. So it's not something you have to be a math teacher to come. You don't have to be a primary school teacher. Pearson, you could join in. You just got to pay the fee first. But
You get the fee thing. You got the fee.
But really, anybody who has somebody that they're working with. So we have some parents that join in and they message out and say, wow, now I have this information that can help my child as they're getting ready for Common Entrance. I can help my child as they're getting ready for CXCs. It is that accessible. You don't have to have a degree in math to be able to access it.
All right, so how can we access it again? Give us the link. Kits, do you have that information?
I have that information. I will send it to you so that you can then,
share with the audience.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yes, you can share with the
And the
audience.
next session is tomorrow and Thursday.
Yes, so tomorrow for primary and then Thursday for secondary.
And you can sign up now and you're accessing it right away, and you can access it at your convenience, but it's good to take in as many sessions as possible.
That's right.
Practice makes perfect. That's important, folks.
Perfect
and so
practice.
to teachers and parents, this is an opportunity through the Methodist Church of the South Caribbean for you to upgrade your skills in teaching of mathematics and the concepts of mathematics, not running straight to the formulas alone, but showing the different techniques that you can use to make mathematics fun and engaging.
Yes.
And so when we share the link, I would like you very quickly to log in and log on and register, pay up, and engage in this life-changing experience in how we teach and engage in mathematics. And so, ladies, I want to thank you, Dr. Chiaka Drakes, who is a mathematics tutor and co-facilitator of the math learning community. We are creating a community of math learners now. And of course, Kits Cadet, who herself is a genius, an education consultant in the Methodist Church. Kits, as always, good to see you. Wish you well.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Drakes, back to you as well, the same thing.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
having us.
Mornin Barbados comes back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Ministry of Youth Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We have 15 minutes to go to 7 o'clock. We have time on our hands. Of course, time on our hands to spend with Tony Olton and a whole lot more as we continue our journey towards self-management and, most of all, emotional intelligence. And it has been quite an interesting journey. I trust that you've been doing all of your practice as you go, and as you go that you're seeing the changes in your responses, not just your reactions alone, but in your responses as well to situations as they occur. And so as they occur, you find yourself becoming far more powerful and empowered to see positive outcomes. And that's what we're seeking to do with you as well, to have positive outcomes in relationships, one with the other. Sometimes a relationship with yourself. I think sometimes that's what it is even more important. So Tony, I see you nodding away. Be careful, that head will drop off if you keep nodding. Good to see you, my brother.
Good morning, Mr. Boy. How are you doing?
I'm doing well today. How are you doing?
Peaceful as always.
That's good. That's what Easter does to all of us. It makes us peaceful yet again.
Peaceful.
And so self-management, I think you agreed with me when you just nodded away that that's so important. We tend to focus on the relationship with someone else, thinking that if we manage that relationship, that we're doing the best we can, failing sometimes to manage ourselves, and they're creating the chaos that we experience. And so we began this series looking at what is self-management. The last time we looked at this whole thing, and you broke it down for us about what it is, why it matters, the science behind it, and so forth. Today I want to look at mastering time and priorities. But before we get to that, give me a recap of what we did last time.
Right. So actually, last time we actually talked about managing time. Yeah. You really can't manage time.
Yes, that's right.
You manage yourself in the context of time.
Yeah.
Yes. So the foundation of that, first of all, is taking responsibility. Mm-hmm. That I can't go back and change any aspect of my past, that's locked away in time. But I can determine the rest. And so I take responsibility for the rest. I follow that by deciding what it is that I want the rest to be about. And that's where we get into personal sense of vision and mission and purpose and the values by which I'm going to live my life. And then the concept of managing yourself in the context of time is, as I walk through time, what are my goals? What is my plan? And what we teach is that the smallest chunk of time you should plan for is a week. Most people are into daily planning. If you're into daily planning, you're into managing crises. So we say the smallest chunk of time you should plan for is a week. This week is about this month is about this quarter is about this year. This year is about how do I walk through this year in the context of my larger plan. So that's it. Taking responsibility for the rest, deciding what you want the rest to be about, and then week by week, establishing your goals, establishing your plan for the week. And as you walk through the week, you're going to have to make adjustments. But here's what you do. As you make those adjustments to that plan you wrote down at the beginning of the week, am I still on track? Mm-hmm. Am I still on track for being the person that I said I want to be and doing the things that I said that I want to do in the context of the goals and the vision I've set for myself?
That sounds easy to do. And it can be easy to do. But it takes some discipline.
Yeah, so in the previous segment, you finished by saying practice makes perfect. Mm-hmm. What we teach is practice makes normal.
You see, you cause me pause again. Do you do this to me all the time? Practice makes normal. And that's right. I mean, there's a lot of truth in that concept as well. Because of the regularity, it becomes the way we do it. And that's what's important as well, even in understanding how we deal with ourselves, managing ourselves and managing our time by looking at it in weekly chunks. Don't try to do it day by day because you're in crisis mode. And just trying to catch up with what presents itself day by day. So to get ahead of that, look down the week, plan, and then you pace yourself accordingly, and then you remain calmer in doing so.
Yes.
All right.
So you don't have that sense of stress because I have to do it.
Yeah.
You get to function from a place of choice making.
Of choice making. You can make a choice to either respond positively or negatively, and we find ourselves in crisis responding in very negative ways.
Negative ways, absolutely.
So avoid the crisis for us. But we want to look to...
I continue to... I really, Pearson, continue to be impressed by how easily you have captured these concepts.
Thank you. I know you like to make me shut up, but thank you. That's all right. I appreciate that. Because I think it's important. I think it's important. I've tried to apply it to my own thinking, my own self, trying to figure out how do I myself stay calm, one, and manage my interactions with others. And I think the more that we all seek to personalize these processes, then we see the satisfaction that we all want. We all want that level of satisfaction, that level of comfort, knowing that I can sleep peaceably at night, knowing that I didn't create an enemy today, but I found a way.
And that sense of personal empowerment, which is critical. That sense of personal empowerment, that I'm the master of my own destiny, my own fate, because I've taken responsibility for the choices that I'm making.
So important indeed. All right. I want to look at building healthy habits and breaking the bad ones. And I'm going to do that right after this break. So don't move anywhere. I'm coming right back to you, sir. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're doing our journey through emotional intelligence, towards emotional intelligence indeed, and self-management is a critical component of that concept of emotional intelligence. Once we understand what it is that we are experiencing, we can better respond to what situations occur. But as we always say, and I like the phrase bad, if you can name it, you will tame it. So understanding yourself and understand just what it is that you're dealing with makes it so much easier. I know that we've talked a little bit about in self-management about building in through time, how we can master time and priorities. I skipped one. I'm so sorry about that, Tony. I didn't mean to do so because I was so anxious to get to breaking and building those healthy habits. Emotional and impulse control, if you don't mind. And that is so true. That's what we do often. We respond on how we feel, and I'm going to respond on how I feel, and you could take it or lump it. And that makes it dangerous for a lot of us.
Yes. So and makes us ineffective. With ourselves and with others. Like everything else in emotional intelligence, it really starts with awareness. So here's today's awareness. We are pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding creatures. We are pleasure-seeking, pain-avoiding creatures. And so when I have an impulse, that impulse is usually spawned by the desire to either acquire pleasure or avoid pain. As simple as that. So I have to have that awareness. There's an acronym that we use, HALT, H-A-L-T. So I have to be very careful when I'm hungry. And that hunger is not just for food. I may be I may be experiencing hunger in attention, connection, being loved. So when I'm hungry, when I'm angry, when I'm lonely, or when I'm tired, I have to be very careful. Because if I respond to whatever emotion erupts as a result of being in one of or a combination of those states, the chances are I'm not going to make a rational decision. I'm not going to make a decision that allows me to be my most effective self.
Oh, word. You hit me on the nail right there, Tony boy. Because when I'm hungry, I become a raging beast. I am hungry. Honestly, everything would irritate me at that point because I'm hungry. And you're quite right. You caused me pause to reflect for just a moment because you're absolutely. So it's hungry, angry, lonely,
or
tired. Those are four danger points that we need to be very, very careful with, and how our emotions would take over us, really. And so, how do I then, in either of those states, manage my impulses?
So first of all, you have to have the awareness, which we just talked about. Next, you have to create space between what we call that stimulus, that impulse, and your response. And I like the way Stephen Covey puts it. He says that space between stimulus and response is that space where we give ourselves the opportunity to find happiness and meaning and fulfillment in life. Yes? That's where we experience growth as well in our lives. So you have to create space. So the first space is that 6 seconds that we talked about some time ago.
Yes.
Yeah? To recognize that impulse, that emotion, if I linger long enough, it will dissipate, it will go away. Then we talked about the 10-minute rule. So I set a clock. And I do something else. I go somewhere. I physically move myself from this space and go to another space. That might mean changing the room. I might leave the house. I might call a friend. I find something to do that allows me to take my mind away from that, what my Trinidadian friends call VAPs. You know, Trinidad say you catch a VAPs. I do something physically, emotionally, to take myself away from that moment and allow my mind to focus on something else. When that 10 minutes is up, then I can ask myself some questions. Where did that come from? What unmet need was that impulse seeking to fill? Yeah? What are my options? What is it that I want? So you begin to interrogate yourself. What you're doing now is that you're allowing your emotional brain and your rational brain to have conversation. And you're allowing your rational brain, your thinking brain, to use its power to think, to reason, and to make rational decisions. So yes, I have my emotion, but I'm not allowing the emotion to drive directly into my behavior. A little bit of understanding around that. So deep inside of our brains is this thing that is called an amygdala. The amygdala is the size and shape of an almond seed. Here's its power. That amygdala stores our memories, and more so, not the fullest content, but the emotion around the experiences that we have had. Have you ever said something to someone and the response you get from them in your head doesn't quite mirror, isn't parallel with what you just said or did? It isn't so much what you said or what you did. It is that what you said or did triggered a memory in parts of a second, 1/10,000th of a second, triggered something. And so the response you got is not specifically what you said, but something deep inside the brain, in that amygdala, is what fired that response. So that if I don't give myself time to think, to reason, to judge, to analyze, to make a rational decision, chances are I'm going to engage in a thinking and a behaving that is dysfunctional, that undermines my own effectiveness with myself and my effectiveness with others.
So take time. Take time.
Take time.
Go for a walk.
Use time wisely. When I spent 4 years teaching at LSD school, and I came to understand and have not forgotten the power of the motto of LSD school: make wise use of your time. Tempore sapiente utere.
Show off. Yeah, make wise use of your time. That's all right, man. Show off. It's okay. But you know, and that's all right. We hear it often. We thought it was an old people saying, but it has value still today. How do we use that time between that moment, walk away, and you have that conversation with yourself, and you find the answer to peace, and that's what we're all seeking to do. Tony, got to leave it there. Of course, this session shall continue, and then we move on to some others next time we connect. Okay.
Thank you, Muscali. All the best, friend.
Likewise, buddy.
Cheers.
You're welcome. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're back with more in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many is that our planet, its governments, and its peoples are all living under the weight of Satan's rule. From the beginning of mankind's existence to today, human history is the written record of what it means to live under the rule of the devil. Yet that rule is coming to an end, and what a difference that will make.
Every Sunday at 9 a.m. on CBC TV 8, tune in for Tomorrow's World, sponsored by the Living Church of God.
Hey there, it's Mahalia. I want to share something that might be really helpful. If you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, depressed, or lonely and have no one to talk to, call Lifeline Barbados. We all face struggles at times in our lives. You're not alone. There's no need to feel ashamed or embarrassed. It's okay to reach out for support. Lifeline Barbados is completely confidential. No one else will know you called. They're there to offer a caring ear and guidance without judgment. And fellas, I want you to know asking for help is a true sign of strength. It takes real courage to reach out. You can also call Lifeline Barbados if you're worried about loved ones who are struggling and you need advice on how to support them. There's a saying, a problem shared.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's take a look at some news now. The cause of Pope Francis's death has been identified as a stroke, followed by a coma and irreversible cardiocirculatory collapse. The director of the Directorate of Health and Hygiene of the Vatican City issued the official certification, and the Holy See Press Office released the report. According to the medical report, the Pope had a prior history of acute respiratory failure caused by multimicrobial bilateral pneumonia, multiple bronchiectasis, high blood pressure, and type 2 diabetes. His Holiness Pope Francis was 88 years old. His death came less than 24 hours after appearing in a wheelchair at St. Peter's Square to lead an Easter address in front of thousands of worshippers. Well, thousands flocked to Kensington Oval for what can easily be described as the biggest show to be held in Barbados for the year. The highly anticipated Caribbean Music Festival featuring dancehall Vibes Cartel was held at Kensington Oval on Sunday. Cameraman Christopher Wood was there to capture the highlights on stage and feel the pulse of the patrons. Rachel Agard has that story.
People from as far as Canada to as near as St. Lucia flocked to the island to be a part of the historic night of music, culture, and electrifying vibes. From all reports, fans who secured their spots to experience the once-in-a-lifetime event that featured an all-star lineup including Vibes Cartel gave the show a passing grade. But the patrons did not mince words in making it clear they wanted more of the world boss himself. They believe the Jamaican artiste should have had more time on stage, delivering hits after hits.
It was a real good show, boy. Vice Cartel, world boss outside. Gaza forever. Down no respect.
I will say I did not get enough Cartel, but the show was pretty good. I will say that, but I wanted more Cartel though. Just saying. At least an hour. When you travel to the other islands, you could party till whenever, and then you get 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Feels like 10 minutes of Cartel. We need more.
Vibes Cartel performed for too short a period of time, 35 minutes. That's ridiculous. He could perform for 5 hours. Who are these guys who were there before him?
Hey, the show was amazing. I came all the way from Brooklyn to my island of Barbados, here to represent. Hey, world boss, we in the building, one love.
We can probably get some things in place where boys can perform a little longer, but honestly, good show overall. I think the VIP was nice and nice experience for everybody, and yeah, we're satisfied for now. But hopefully boys can come back again and we could do this thing all over again.
I think it was a good show today, even though Vibes only came for like 20 minutes. But big up the world boss, you hear me?
The crowd was rocking as artists such as Tommy Lee, Spice, TJ, among others, kept them entertained at the event produced by Zulu Entertainment. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
Well, mixed weather greeted holiday makers across Barbados on Easter Monday, but the conditions did little to daunt Barbadians from enjoying themselves. Trevor Thorpe reports.
It was time for a fellowship out of the church for members of the Husbandman Pentecostal, led by Pastor Anne-Marie Goodridge. They occupied a section of Pebbles Beach for a day of fun and frolic, and Pastor Goodridge says they do it often.
The church ain't just about church, we're about fun, frolic, and everything wonderful. God loves us to be enjoying a wonderful time in Him.
Generations of the Hutchinson family were assembling nearby, and spokesman Jermaine Hutchinson said it's a tradition.
Well, it's a day to relax. We would have gone to church yesterday, Good Friday, so it's a day to relax and enjoy family life, which we always do.
For kite flyers, rain, along with a faulty generator, kept kites belonging to the members of the Paris Hill Kite Flyers Club's kites grounded, while light winds provided a challenge for those in the National Botanical Gardens. Vin Boucher was struggling to keep his diamond kite in the air for his grandson.
It's just a diamond was made by me, and I was expecting, as we all know, a lot more wind today, but we're not getting the wind that we should be getting, so it's a struggle.
For persons with bat kites, things appeared to be somewhat different, as Shandy Polion explained.
I kind of know how to get it up, because all you gotta do is catch the wind. You gotta carry it to a certain height and just keep it at a certain height, so you go get more wind. The higher you go, you're gonna get more wind, so I just want to put it to a certain height and it will stay up there.
For Deirdre Boyce, the day was akin to a reunion for family members who are in for a holiday for the Easter weekend. And despite the merriment, she had a message for Barbadians and visitors.
I want them to remember that Jesus is the reason for everything. It's not Easter without Jesus. And then Jesus, the love that Jesus shares is the whole we can then share love with each other.
And apart from the Easter celebrations at the beach and the traditional kite flying, several other get-togethers are taking place at various venues across the island, including the Gathering St. Joseph. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Let's look at sports now. Barbados is one win away from retaining the West Indies Rising Stars Under-15 Championship title after registering their fourth straight victory, beating the Windward Islands by 149 runs. Opting to bat first at the Antigua Recreation Ground, Barbados posted 248 all-out in 48.1 overs. Kilani Clark led with an even 100, inclusive of 11 fours and 2 sixes. Jershon Joseph took 4 for 53. Here are the highlights.
13
Well, in reply, the Windwards were bowled out for 108 in 35.3 overs. Captain Justin Paris was the pick of the bowlers with 3 for 29 and Zarel Harding took 2 for 6. Barbados under-15s will play their fifth and final match against Ghana under-15s. That's a look at news. Until now, more news coming up at 12 noon right here on CBC TV 8. Morning Barbados comes back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 12.5 minutes now after 7 o'clock this Tuesday morning. Don't get confused. It is Tuesday. It is the 22nd of April. And so we did tell you about the Make a Book project, didn't we? Do you remember? And it's in association with the National Library Service. Well, back to talk to us more, I did tease at the top, there's a change in deadline, is Curtis Padmore. He's the team lead of Make a Book project. Curtis, good morning again to you.
Good morning, Pearson, and good morning, Barbados.
Okay, so there's a change in the deadline.
Correct.
What is the new deadline and why is there a change in deadline?
Well, we want to really give the children the opportunity to submit as many compositions as possible. And the new deadline is this Friday. We've pushed it back to the 25th of 2025. And if you're in numerology, then maybe there's some significance there. And on the topic of math in the morning, perhaps I should start with a little math. So we've had about 55 compositions submitted already. And based on how our system is set up, we have 17 partners, and the children select the compositions that align with each partner, and each partner can have up to 30 submissions. So that's 17 times 30, that's really about 510 compositions that can be submitted. And since we've had 55 submitted, the math is 455 submissions are left. So we're allowing children across Barbados, 8 to 11 years old, to use these remaining 3 days to submit in mass, because those spaces are going to fill up quickly. And we're doing something special as well. The class 4s, those getting ready for the 11 plus, another number here, age 11 is special. They will get the opportunity to have their submissions marked, and we will share those marks with them so they get early prep. Teachers don't have to mark anything, so the teachers benefit. And of course, if they win, they get $200 cash plus more prizes.
There you go. So if you're still confused, take a look at this. We're coming back in a moment. Look at this.
Kids across Barbados, it's your time. Stories from your hearts, let your words shine. Write your tale, adventure waits for you. Your imagination making dreams come true. Make a book, share your story. Read it loud, read it proud. Inspire more. Make a book, feel the glory. Turning children's words into books galore. From your classroom straight to the library shelf, express your creativity, believe in yourself. Pen to paper, let your stories flow. Building pride and literacy, watch us grow. Make a book, share your story. Read it loud, read it proud. Inspire more.
You got a snapshot just now about what the competition is about and how you can enter. You saw the form laid out just before you, and it's as simple as Simon, who met the pieman, by the way. So encourage your children to write and write and write. And there's an age cohort that you're approaching, right?
Absolutely. We're focusing on the 8 to 11s. Of course, we're encouraging the class 4s who are 11 years old, or some of them even 10, to submit to get the additional benefit. And with the age focus, we really lean more towards the older students in the junior school because they'll have the stronger writing skills.
Right. So their composition turns into a book if they're successfully chosen, and it will be pictorially depicted as well. Lord, that sounds bad English, but nonetheless, you all get the idea. And presented, now your book goes onto a shelf, and you're now a published author. So allow your child to become a published author through their compositions. Well, is there a total number of words per competition, per entry?
For every composition, we're allowing 200 to 300 words.
Okay.
And the topics, of course, must align with the sponsors, which are in the form. And I could actually go through them now, so that I could also give the partners their flowers. So within the form, there's 70 partners, and all of the compositions align with each partner. So we have the Barbados National Energy Company Limited. Their composition is the Energy Explorers, Barbados Workers Union, the Solidarity Squad, Chukka Foundation, the Secret Garden Adventure, Cricket Legends of Barbados, Field of Legends, Granny Adams International Airport, Airport Detectives, National Wellbeing and HIV Commission, the Ribbon of Hope, the Barbados Alzheimer's Association, the Magic of Remembering, the Barbados Bankers Association, the Piggy Bank Adventure, the Barbados Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Commerce Kids Unite, the Barbados Muslim Association, Eid on the Island, the Barbados National Standards Institution, Quality Quest, the Standards Adventure, the Barbados Nurses Association, Nurse Nia's Big Day, and we also have the Bureau of Gender Affairs, Differences Between Boys and Girls in Play, the Central Bank of Barbados, the Economy Explorers, the Youth Entrepreneurship Scheme, Dream It, Do It, United Nations Children Fund, The Rights of Every Child, Walker's Institute of Regenerative Research, Education and Design, The Farm of the Future.
Right, and those are the subject areas on which you write. So you're encouraged to allow the children to research, do their own research, and let that research inform the compositions which they write.
Correct.
And be as creative and imaginative as you possibly can be, because we want to depict those books in beautiful, bright colors.
Exactly.
And that's what we want you to allow your child to do. Use that imagination, build in some facts, but poetic license is also allowed, of course. You know, I mean, after all, we have these characters, these explorers and the like, and so we want to see the magic that comes out in your poetry and your compositions as well. The deadline again is this coming Friday.
This coming Friday up to midnight, April 25th, 2025.
And you submit online. You don't have to worry about the pictures, that'll be done for you. Just the compositions together.
Correct.
And so it's for those 8 to 11 years old, and they're winning some fantastic prizes.
Correct. We've got $200 cash for each winner, and we've got some additional prizes we won't mention yet, but we've got some additional fun things available. But we want to really encourage children to focus on the joy of being inspired and writing, because the project really is one about literacy and allowing children to dream and imagine and bring their compositions to life. And then we will handle all the donkey work, all the butt work, and turn the winning compositions into awesomely illustrated storybooks.
Fantastic. And each of these organizations really want to reward each child, their child winner. But for the 11-year-olds who are preparing for the Common Interest exam, you said that all of those compositions will be graded, and you will assess and return to the teacher the outcomes.
Absolutely. We realize that there's some added benefit around our timing. So what we're going to do is offer free of charge, and I think this would be a plus to the teachers as well. We will allow all of those compositions sent from the class 4s, or those who are taking the 11+. We will do the assessments, grade them, and share those assessments with the teachers and the pupils so that they benefit ahead of the Common Interest, which is just around the corner.
Indeed, at the beginning of May, as a matter of fact. And so this, folks, is a very important Make a Book project. And can you imagine your little 8-year-old being a published author? Can you just see that? Because you see the potential in your child. Give them that opportunity right now to enter. Look at those logos on the screen. You can write on any of those. But once you log on, where can we go log on, by the way, to enter? Yeah.
Of course, themakeabookproject.com. Easy.
Themakeabookproject.com. Simple, Simon. And there you go. Once you log on there, you see all of the criteria that you need to complete and submit. Hit submit and you are good. Just wait on the announcement, because your child is already a winner for having completed those compositions. So start cracking on it. You have until Friday the deadline has been extended, so don't think you've lost the opportunity. No, you haven't. The folks at the Make a Book project are so kind to you. They've extended it to allow you to enter more, and only one entry per person.
Well, actually, you can submit more than one entry.
Oh, because they can tackle more than one story.
Correct. So we don't want to restrict the child's imagination. And there are really some children who are very, very imaginative and would enjoy submitting multiple compositions. So no restriction.
Oh, fantastic. So there you go. Now you know, no restriction at all to their imagination, no restriction in terms of entry, no restrictions at all. And so you need to just check on the person on whose story you're writing, the organization, get a sense of what the organization is about. Because as much as your story is a bit of a fantasy, it has to be almost somewhat like close to reality, because you don't want to just write off on any and everything, but align it with the themes given by each of the sponsors, and once that is in alignment, hit submit and you're good to go. Parents, let the children do it, because you know, we adults, we want the best, so we think that we have the magic.
Parents and teachers, actually. Parents and teachers can support the child to submit the form.
Yeah, but don't take it over.
Agreed.
Let the child's imagination flow onto that paper.
Exactly.
And that is what we really want to see. And then by the end of it all, that becomes a published book. And it will be available then for sale, I suppose.
No, the National Library Service. So our partnership with the National Library Service, it goes there for all of eternity.
Okay, for all eternity. Can you imagine that? Eternally. Lovely. Thank you, Curtis.
Thank you, sir.
As well as, folks, the deadline is now this coming Friday. This coming Friday. Go to makeabookproject.com online, and you will complete the form, attach your child's composition, and wait to see if they've won. And if they haven't won, they've already won, because they've done so well in compiling their beautiful story in composition. So I thank you for your full support, and thank you, Curtis, as well, and wish you well. And of course, we want to hear the winners, okay?
Of course, definitely.
Of course, naturally. Let's finish this project well.
Correct.
TheMakeABookProject.com. Mornin Barbados, it's a break here. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient.
Good morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
24 minutes now after the hour of 7 o'clock as we turn our attention to a book. It's another chapter in Barbados indeed. And it's so beautiful to know that Barbadians are publishing and publishing and publishing. This one tells the story of a man whose voice you know, whose name you know, whose face you know, whose feats you already know. And I'm not talking about FWT. It's not bad English, but whose feats and outcomes you know. And now it's compiled in a book. If I said to you, Roland Butcher, do you know who I'm talking about? Yes, indeed you do. Roland, good morning to you.
Yeah, Pearson, very good morning to you.
Good to have you indeed. And first of all, congratulations on this autobiography of yours.
Thank you very much.
I keep wondering sometimes what compels a person to write about themselves. What was it that compelled you to write about yourself?
Well, it's a very interesting story, actually. Mm-hmm. I think basically I knew at some point in time that I would have to write it. Time waits for no man, so it takes on. But I was really prompted by the author, Dr. Sasha Sutherland, who was a student of mine at university when I was at university from 2004. And basically, for the last couple of years, she's been saying, Roland, you need to do your autobiography. And as most men normally do, they say, yeah, sure. But I never thought about it. But when I came back from England last year, around September, October time, I called her up and I said, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to do my autobiography. She said, great. At that point, she thought that I had someone who had done many books before to do it.
Yes.
And I said, but by the way, you're going to do it. Which was a first because she's never done a book before.
Yeah.
But what I can say is that I knew she would do a great job, and she did do a fantastic job. So that's really how I got to do this autobiography at this point in time.
But it makes you have to stop for a moment and just retrace your life to tell the story. But you have rich memories, which suggests to me, you know, that for you, all of these are very signal moments of your time. The book is called?
It's called Breaking Barriers, Barbados to England and Back.
What is it in there that we did not know about you?
Well, there's a lot in here that you don't know about me, and a lot that Barbadians don't know. The big problem that we really have is that a lot of people don't realize what you've actually done over your life. So really, in this book here, it contains everything from the moment I was born in St. Philip,
right,
to when I left Barbados, my journey in England, everywhere else, everything that goes with that, and coming back to Barbados, and what's happened in Barbados since I've come back as well, and the future.
People are generally very humble. I don't want to talk about myself, I'd rather talk about you. That's generally our position. But you decided, you know what, I'm going to talk about myself. I don't mind sharing my whole things. And so you were beginning to break barriers. When you began to reflect on that and the breaking of those barriers that you had to make when you migrated to the UK, talk to me about some of those experiences that for you stood out when you reflected for just a moment.
Well, when I reflect, you know, I think, well, how does a barefoot boy from East Point St. Philip do the things that I actually did in my life in a foreign country that is, by all intents and purposes, not your country? So when I reflect on that, at times it's with amazement and to think really how it's happened. But at the same time, it also tells me about the possibilities that you can gain in life if you really want something and want it badly.
Was it cricket that took you there to UK?
No, but basically my parents had migrated to England in the 50s. I was about 2 years old. I was actually brought up by my grandmother.
Right.
So I didn't go to England until I was 13 and a half. So it was really in insistence by my parents that I actually come to England. I mean, they tried before that, but my grandmother refused.
Not this boy. I get you. But then you had to confront the differences in society, the differences in community. Is that also documented in the book?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, from the moment I arrived in England, obviously it was a difficult transition because you've arrived in a country that you have no history of, only what you've read. It's very cold. You know, I found I had a new family in terms of two brothers and two sisters. The English were not interested in cricket in my area.
Right.
You know, the kids were playing football, adjusting to that sport, finally getting back into cricket, and then, you know, the barriers that you have to deal with as you grow up as a kid, and then later on when you become a professional sportsman.
But you had to prove yourself because you're a different color. Was that part of what you had to face?
Well, most definitely. I mean, you had to prove yourself over and over again. You know, you had to be twice as good. And I was quite prepared for all that. And it worked out well.
It worked out well. And so it worked so well that you felt comfortable to share that. But there must have been moments that were uncomfortable. Did the author help you tackle those uncomfortable moments?
Yeah, she did. I think, and the reason I really chose her to do it, or she chose me, was the fact that she knows me so well. You know, she was at university as a student, then she worked with us in the sports office. We've done many projects after that, so she knew me well. So she knew the questions to ask and how to get things out of me. She always complained to others that, you know, I don't like talking about myself, but she was able to get it done.
And so all of that is in the book. I mean, I'm phrasing this because I really want people to pick up this book and read.
Yeah.
It is not a cricket history. It is a life of Roland Butcher. But though cricket and sport, football in particular, is dotted through, it is not about that necessarily. But it teaches, by the end of it all, how oneself can find purpose through sport and so forth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is much more than just a cricket book and a recount of my life in sport. I think for me, it's a teaching tool really to any youngster who, in any society in this country, anywhere else, who really has to be confronted by barriers, how to be resilient, how to be persistent. And, so it's really educational and literacy book as well. And I really want it to be that teaching tool, really, not just to young Barbadians, but to anybody around the world.
Have you read it from cover to cover?
Many times. I had to.
Right, but I'm not looking for grammatical errors or anything. But in reading it, did you absorb your story? And what was that absorption like?
I think many times it actually surprised me, the number of things that I have done, what I've had to go through, how I've coped with various things, and the result. Have I read it? Yes, I've read it many times to the point that I don't want to read it anymore.
It's your book. But, it also tells the story of some people who you've encountered along the way. So using your sport, your favorite sport of cricket, but you're also a passion for football. Who are some of the people and some of the places you've been or traveled that the book tells us about?
Well, I think the book tells, first of all, how I actually got into cricket in England, which was interesting because having arrived in England, all the kids are playing football. Naturally, I got involved with football, then had a passion for it, really loved the game, and forgot about cricket for a little while.
Right.
And it was really through playing football, which was the normal thing kids did on weekends. You go to the local park, put your coats down, play. And we did this on a Sunday, and just getting ready to go home, having been there for about 3 hours, some guys came onto the field because the fields were multi-use. And they walked over to us and said, listen guys, we've got a cricket match going on, we're a few players short, would any of you guys like to play? The response was no, but one of my friends knew I liked cricket. He persuaded me to play. Yeah, he said, and even I said no eventually, but eventually I played.
Yes.
And it was for a third 11 team in Stevenage, and I did not particularly well. I scored about 12 runs, a couple of catches, but the important thing was that they invited me to play the next week. Initially I thought it was because we were going to be short again, but I played and then developed from there, and that's how I really got back into the game. In terms of travel, the cricketing life is a great life. It allowed me to see, as a professional cricketer, all over England, and then travel to many countries abroad: Australia, New Zealand, India, Pakistan, Canada, you name it. All the test-playing cricket countries all over Europe. It's been a fantastic life, and the great thing about it was I didn't have to pay.
But you've lived long enough, you lived well enough to see that, because there was a time when sport didn't have the kind of prominence that it does today, and people didn't see it to be a money-making activity as well, or a job that pays you. And so talk to me about the transitions throughout that change in time.
Yeah, I think particularly cricket. Cricket was always seen as a nice sport, you just clap, not too loud. But what's really happened of late is that the game suddenly has become a real big deal. And I think the IPL really has opened up the way that cricket is going to go. It was actually spoken about, Professor Beckles spoke about this years ago, in the age of globalization. That's what's happened to the sport. And the Indians have really taken it on board. And now it is a big sport. Yeah. It can compete with any of the other big sports.
You came back to Barbados, and you went to the university because you wanted to give back. You wanted to see, even at the grassroots level, from the bottom up, the change in the game. How was that experience for you?
Well, that was a great experience in the end. Well, Professor Beckles, who you know is an avid sports person, and one of his dreams really was to ensure that in the Caribbean you had students who were student athletes. So he brought me to the university in 2004 to develop the sports program to that point, which we did, to the point where we offered sports scholarships with the idea of keeping our best athletes and scholars in the region. And that worked really well because we had a lot of players who went on to play for the West Indies while there were students. So it was an interesting time. It wasn't just cricket that I was involved with. I was the director of sports, so I had to develop 14 sports plus all the facilities and the programs and get coaches, etc., etc. I think it was a great experience. I enjoyed 15 years, very happy 15 years, and I'm also now enjoying my retirement.
Oh, lucky thou art, indeed, to be strong enough and alive enough to be able to do so. But you're now lending your voice in a different way. You're into commentary now.
Yeah,
Did you see that in your trajectory as well?
Well, listen, when I was a youngster in Barbados, before I went to England, commentary was something that interested me. You know, I would listen to the great commentators, Alan McGilvray from Australia, and, you know, all the other great commentators, and mimic them to some degree. So towards the end of my career, I got into the commentary, and, you know, I've been doing it for a long time. I mean, most summers I spend in England commentating for the BBC, and obviously regionally in the Caribbean as well. So it's something that I enjoy, and it's a way of giving back my experience throughout the game.
You are so well respected. I don't know if you know how well respected you are, because when we listen to commentary, we hear people talk about you. And when you're on the commentary panel as well, we hear people talk about you. And how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel as if I'm doing a good job. And, you know, certainly when I commentate, you know, I try to bring what I see and, you know, and just make the game, you know, fun for people to watch and want to play. So it's a profession that I enjoy, for sure.
We have not forgotten you. We just want you to know that we have not forgotten you. And so your name is always called, and that's a good thing. We're going to take a break here. We're coming right back in just a moment, because I really want to delve even further through the book, Breaking Barriers. And we'll talk to Roland Butcher, who has written that book, in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Ministry of Youth Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
What a time this was for Roland Butcher to play his first test innings. But the big partisan crowd gave their old boy a rapturous welcome, and Desmond Haynes did his best to make his fellow Barbadian feel at home. Gower, like Gooch, had seemed quite at home, but he hadn't faced Croft yet. That was the end of Gower, 55 for 4, and there was to be no fairy tale debut for Butcher either.
You look at that, and what triggered for you?
Well, I should have got forward.
Now you know. Yeah. You wish you could play that game again, right?
Absolutely.
The result would have been different, indeed. And so that's who you are, the cricketer. The book talks about you, the man, the player, the parent, the human being. How does the book end?
Well, I think the book ends really with what I am now doing, because apart from the commentary, etc., something that's very important to me right now is, you know, I'm the president of the Barbados Royals Girls Cricket Club, initiative here in Barbados for giving girls the opportunity to play cricket in a safe environment. I'm working hard with that. You'll be pleased to know also that the chair of that is the same Dr. Sassa Sutherland. Yes. And basically, you know, that's what I'm involved in right now, in developing that, giving the girls a voice in the game of cricket.
In other words, it doesn't end.
No, it doesn't. You know, I've been involved in male sport, you know, all my life. I think the women's sport, particularly cricket, has been really neglected in this region. And, you know, I felt that it was time that they had a voice, and now I am still able to assist. That's what I'm doing.
The eye injury. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, the eye injury was something that I think really finished my international career because having got that injury, it affected my left eye, the sight in the left eye, and really it was, you know, touch and go whether I actually played after that. Fortunately for me, I was able to come back from that setback, fight my way back, play for another 7 years professionally. So even though my international career was over, I still had a pretty good career after.
But that was a mental and emotional challenge, something that just appeared when you were at the height of everything. How did you overcome all of that to be able still to continue playing?
With great difficulty. I think with the patience of my wife. I mean, she had to bear the brunt of my moodiness and everything else. You know, I had lots of double vision, so she had to come to the park with me and throw balls for me to try and catch, etc. But I think it's really down to her. I mean, she made sure that I, you know, stayed fairly even, because, you know, you can get irritable, you can see your career flashing before your eyes, you know, and it puts pressure on your family life as well. But I think my wife really, she was the driving force.
Oh, these are powerful stories, folks, and all of these stories are kept in this book. It's Roland Butcher's Breaking Barriers by
Barbados
and
to
beyond.
England and back.
Yeah, and so it's available. How can we access the book?
Well, you can access this book at the moment through the UE Bookshop. You can also go on www.rolandbutcher.co.uk. I'm currently negotiating in Barbados with an entity where you'll be able to get it as well. But currently, the UE Bookshop and the website.
Right. rolandbutcher.co.uk is the website to which you go. You can order it there. And at the bookshop at UWI as well. This is a brilliant book, folks. Brilliant book. Let's make this sell off the shelves in tutus and make it reprint and reprint and reprint as well. So if you're a cricket lover, if you're a football lover, if you're just interested in the story of Roland Butcher, one of Barbados' best ever, and one who's traveled to the UK, broken barriers, and who's back, and who continues to lend to the sport of cricket and the development of sports in general, the book is for you to read. And if you want to read a book of inspiration that shows a man who's faced all of his challenges and overcome them all, this is the book for you. It's called Breaking Barriers, Barbados to England and Back. He tells a story. Get the book today. Remember, at the UE Bookshop and online, rolandbutcher.co.uk. It's available. Roland, thank you so much. And again, Barbados says thank you. Our folks online are talking about you as well. Patricia Ben says, good morning to Roland Butcher. Congratulations on you and your autobiography. She's wishing you well. So folks are commenting about you as well. I hope you move from commenting to buying now as well. So folks, don't forget, go to the website because Patricia's overseas. Go to the website rolandbutcher.co.uk and order your book, or get it from the UE bookstore if you're in Barbados as well. So thanks, Roland. All the best. Barbados remembers you. Barbados salutes you. Barbados is proud of you. Thank you.
Pearson, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. We're taking a break here. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount. Sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that.
Morning to you.
It's 14 minutes now to go to the hour of 8 o'clock as we continue our discussion on regathering. Remember, folks, it's regathering all year long. This is the month of April, so St. Joseph, we're getting ready to say goodbye to. They've had a brilliant weekend as well. They had a lot of people turn up for a lot of things all month long, so well done to you, St. Joseph. And so next month is the turn of St. John as we continue traveling along that side of the island indeed. And so joining us this morning are from the organizing committee, the chairperson, Danielle Bishop Small. Good morning, Danielle.
Good morning.
Good girl. And Leah Howell, who is the PRO of the organizing committee as well. Ladies, you have a good trail to follow now, girl. I'm telling you, are you looking forward to your time?
We are super excited for our month. Our month is focused on pride, purpose, and the big thing, community.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pride, purpose, and community.
Yes.
That's a lot to do. And so planning for all of this would have started.
Yeah, definitely.
And when did it start by the planning?
We started our planning in December, the end of December, so we are well on the way.
So St. John folks, we are well on the way in St. John to deliver a wonderful series of activities. And so, but you're planning for a whole month, but you're planning also for a whole community, a whole parish of people who are in island and who are off island as well, who are looking forward to coming home as well. So where does it start? I'll start with you, Leah. Talk to me, where does it start and what does it start with?
I would say that we have created a suite of events and activities for anyone that's coming to Barbados who lives in St. John or who lives in Barbados to enjoy. So we have really brought out what the community spirit is. So you know what you think about when you think about community. You think about, going out to a line with your friends and family. You think about going to a picnic. You think about going to a sporting event. You might think about going to church, and we have all of those happening. Now we'll be starting off May with the BWU partnership that we have for the BWU Family Day and Picnic. That will be at Pool Woods, starting from 12 p.m. midday all the way until 6 p.m. And this is really an old school flair, bringing that old school flair to Pool Woods, which will be transformed into a national park style venue, and we'll be having stuff like the traditional games of kids fun zone, food, and community vibes throughout the whole day. You can also come down for events like the 3-hand dominoes tournament sponsored by the GAIA Inc., a mixology competition, and a full lineup of entertainment.
Where's Pool? Pool is Pool. I'm sorry. For somebody who's not from St. John, and we just want to make sure they find their way into St. John to come and celebrate with you. How do we do so?
I think most persons may be aware where Four Roads gas station is in St. John. It's not too far from there. So you just follow the road from there and you see this beautiful suite of mahogany trees. That is Pool Woods. That's our iconic Pool Woods.
Okay. So now I know where we're going. Now I know where we're going on May the 1st.
Yes.
May the 1st. And that's a whole family activity, a family event. And of course, your color is gold, as you're beautifully wearing this morning. And so we want to encourage all of you on May the 1st to come out to the kickoff, basically the kickoff of your activity. And so it's open to everyone of every age and every stage of life as well to come and celebrate with you. Our pride, our purpose, one powerful community. You didn't know that word for me?
Sorry, we're very powerful.
What do you think it is that makes St. John so powerful?
I think it is our people, our camaraderie. It's just the warmth of St. John, the countryside. It's just the warmth of St. John.
So what do you think is the most beautiful thing about St. John that we need to come and explore?
I would say our St. John culture.
The culture?
Our
Not
culture.
the bananas?
The food is excellent. We have some wonderful chefs in St. John, but
really,
yes, but the food is excellent. But definitely our culture.
Zora's Land is in St. John, right?
Yes, it is.
With that hill.
Yes.
You know, that's why I never
At least you know.
That hill.
I mean, there's so many more things in St. John that people can come to look at. As me and Danielle, we know what it's like to represent our parish and know how awesome it is to see the wonderful things in St. John. St. John is one of the few places, actually the only place in Barbados that has the only natural waterfall, which is down at Bath. Pool Woods is the 3rd largest collection of mahogany trees, I believe, if it's not in Barbados, it's in the world. As well, we have Codrington College that has all of its symbolic residents as well, from plantation life all the way to creating the Lodge School, the first secondary school in Barbados. So there's so much about St. John that you can come and experience as well. That is something that they'll be seeing at our heritage tour and learning more about Danielle as well.
When is that heritage tour?
Our heritage tour is on the 24th of May.
So we got some time still to plan, almost a month away.
Yes.
Good. I can't wait for that heritage tour. We get lost and we find our way through and we just explore as well. So May 1st is the BW's Family Day and Picnic. They're partnering with you guys to be able to do their activity at Pool Woods. Now you know where it is, and now you can come and explore and expand right there. But the second event I see here is on May the 3rd, Story Quest.
Yes, Story Quest is our children and our family day. That day is dedicated strictly for children and entirely for families. We have a number of partnerships for that day. So we have our genealogy marketplace, we have the National Task Force on Literacy doing storytelling, we have the Kiwanis Club coming in and doing some storytelling as well. We have Climate Action by Caribbean Climate and Ashley Lashley. We have some cultural cardio with spinning. We have the Ministry of Educational Transformation as well. We have a host of activities for that day. And importantly, we also have the Men's Empowerment Network. They're coming to facilitate a 3-hour session completely for males.
That's great. And this is another whole day event. Another whole day, because it started at 11, right, Leah?
Yeah, starting at 11, finishing at 9 p.m. at the St. John's Parish Church.
At the Parish Church in the car park?
We're using the entire church facility. We have beautiful grounds at St. John's Parish Church.
That's a beautiful location indeed.
Yes. And what's more beautiful is the view from over the cliff that you can see. You can see all of the edge from Martins Bay.
Sundial.
Exactly, all the way from Martins Bay, all the way down to a little piece of St. Mark's, near St. Mark's Church. So yes.
It is stunning from up top there indeed. And in your, I'm a graveyard fella. I like to, I don't mean that badly, but you take your time, you read the gravestones and you see the lives told in those gravestones as well, the people who have lived and died, and you wonder, my gosh, what must it have been like, including the late Prime Minister David Thompson, who's entombed there. And so we want you to take your time as you explore the St. John Parish Church grave site as well to learn a little bit more of our history. But come on May 3rd and engage in Story Quest. Story Quest, when I hear quest, I keep thinking I'm in search of, I'm seeking out, that kind of thing. And so that's what you'll discover as you come on Story Quest on May the 3rd. What day of the week is that?
That's a Saturday.
That's a Saturday, May 3rd, from 11 in the morning right through. And there's a whole host happening. I feel as if there's going to be a market space as well, not just a genealogy market, but food and drinks on sale, that kind of thing.
Food, drinks, popcorn, toys, face painting.
Something for children.
A kids zone, jumping time, obstacle course, we have it.
Children, there's a wonderful day out for the children and adults because it's going to 9. And so we want all of you to gather there as well at the St. John Parish Church on the 3rd. Remember, on the 1st of May, which is a public holiday, we're going to Pool Woods. That's where the St. John Parish Organizing Committee are partnering with the Barbados Workers Union for their big family day and picnic. It's going to be huge. And so in terms of parking, by the way, at Pool Woods, is it ample space that we can be comfortably accommodated?
Yes, please. So we have some parking right.
Okay.
Yeah, so the buses are going to come. They have a turnaround point. There's facilitations for everything.
Just want to make sure.
Yes.
Get a bit of a bottleneck. You know what I get? I'm angry. And so we take the bus from the terminals and we come up. You'll be shuttled in by the bus as well. So that's good. So there's a lot happening. There's a drive on the 3rd, I see here as well. And so health checks as well by the David Thompson Social Services Committee.
Health and Social Services Complex, yes.
A lot going on, folks. And so that's just 2 events that we told you about, you know, can you imagine? And then on the following day, where you talked about church, Leah.
So yes. On the 4th, we will be moving to Mount Tabor Moravian Church for our church service. This is a really special day specifically because Mount Tabor Moravian Church is celebrating 200 years of existence as well.
Okay. Yes. Significant indeed, 200 years. Yes. And that too is an iconic location as well. Up the little incline, you can still overlook some parts of St. John. So on the 4th of May, but your service is in the afternoon.
Our service goes from 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. So you can come out with us and, you know, enjoy the community spirit and also enjoy the spirit of the Lord as well.
Daniel, what do you think is the thing to look forward to most on the calendar of events that you think people really need to get involved in this time?
A lot of Barbadians would love the BWU event. That's the party vibe for persons. However, I think our heritage tour is going to be very impactful. We also have a commemorative history booklet, which was done by one of our proud St. John daughters, Ivani. And that book also has some history. As you do the treasure hunt and stuff, you would be able to read that book, get some knowledge, and that is going to be available from May the 1st at Woodward's. It's digital.
It's a digital book?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. So you just scan, get the code, and you can flip the pages.
Yep.
Yeah.
And hint, read the book, because the treasure hunt will have
help.
clues implanted in that book.
Yes.
And so that's important for you to get to know the history so that you engage in the treasure hunt in a fun way as well, by understanding from the book what's happening. But the book will be available on the 1st of May. That's when they're launching the book. And then thereafter, how is the book going to be accessible?
Right, so we're also going to have it on our socials.
Okay.
Yes.
And what's your social handle?
Yeah, you can go to We Gathering St. John on Facebook or Instagram to find out more about all of the activities that we have going on in May. At this time, you can also go into our bio and click the link so you can sign up for a treasure hunt as well. Just fill out the form.
Early o'clock.
Yes.
Early o'clock. You can sign up right now. We Gathering St. John on social, and they just fill out once you go to the bio, just click there the link to register for the treasure hunt. And good luck to all of you treasure hunters. Indeed, but get the digital book, because the digital book has pertinent information in it that will help you in your treasure hunt. And you know, they're dropping little kernels and they're not telling me all the details because they don't want to tell you either. But they want you to come on the 1st, get the digital book, and in doing so, read it, absorb, and then register as well for the treasure hunt, which is coming up a little later in the month. But there's a lot happening in St. John. There's a full calendar before your eyes, everybody. Absorb. And this is what you'll find on their socials as well. This is what it looks like. Every day practically, but most days they're having something to involve all of you. And so as they move around, they want you to come and be a part of it as well. Come gather in St. John. The Clarion concert, the Clarion Singers are having a concert series as well on the 11th. I know that's also going to be a big one. There's sporting activity. There's a police band concert right in the evening when we go to Moravian Mount Tabor.
Yes.
You didn't tell me about that, Leah?
I did. I did not.
So tell me.
I feel like Danielle. This is Danielle's special project, so she knows most of it.
So the police band concert is one of our community events. This is being put on by St. John Parish Church. That, along with the police band concert, those are community events. So those are paid events.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Clarion Singers, that's a day obviously for persons to bring their mothers, their families, enjoy themselves in the evening.
We will have you guys back because we need to give more details to what's happening in May in St. John, folks. But Danielle and Leah, I want to thank both of you from the Parish Organizing Committee. Again, our doors are open to welcome you back to talk to us more about these. Okay?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome indeed. Morning Barbados, we're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, that's it for today, everyone. My little crew says thanks to all of you. We're looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow, if it be God's will. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning. Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. wake up.